And now I would just make a short session about sharing experience with projects, bad experience and good experience. I think it takes about 10 minutes. Then there's a short presentation about the project, like the basic facts, and then we make a coffee break. It's okay. So I think in an hour we may break for coffee. So, is there anyone who wants to volunteer and share experience first? So, everybody should tell us about the project that he considers very successful and that we can learn from, and maybe a bad experience that we can all try to avoid.
Shall we try?
If you want.
So we have developed recently in 1 year ago, during the past years. We start with the bad experience. The Playing for Interculturality project, which was aiming at the building the creation of a game, an online tool, useful to raising awareness about European aspects and so on. But the main problem of the project, who led to the how can I say, not a proper divulgation of its results of the project that finally eventually was created, was the bad communication between the partners, which I think it's a transversal problem that everybody has met. The 400 projects of Ronenko, I'm sure that some of them happen to be like that. And unfortunately, the bad communication between the partners led to the non-achievement of the objective goals, because at the end of the project, the product remained there and it was not properly disseminated as it should have been. So that was because no one cooperated properly, and everyone criticized others and so on, instead of building constructive criticism. So instead, that was the bad experience.
Okay, so the outputs were very creative, but they were disseminated.
Yes, probably.
And was it a program for a national agency? Like that you didn't receive the money or this?
No. This was not a problem. But the bad experience for me was the not collaboration between the partners, closed everyone
approach.
Yes, and dal mio punto di vista poi il fatto che il prodotto sia rimasto via e non sia stata data una disseminazione valida.
Yes, this is what I said before, that the product remained there. It was the game was an online tool, or it also
Non si sa, quello che online
it actually doesn't work. So everything ended at the end of the project.
and this is not a good thing.
This is what, of course, we should try to avoid, because the end of the project would be the start of new collaborations, talking about us as a strategic partnership. And of course, we have to be focused on the continuing of the dissemination of the projects. The website that we would create should be okay. Ours was not updated, so non era previsto come nel nostro caso per 5 anni.
No.
But it was not, as in our case, it was not compulsory, or it was not being, it years obligation.
Mhm.
So that family has not been a problem with the agency.
E questa è la cattiva esperienza.
Amongst all the other successful projects, the one that I feel that I have to mention today is the one for which we have been awarded with the STAR project recognition that I have also mentioned before in the presentation. It was the Women for Business project, which aimed at raising awareness about equal opportunities. That has been a problem in our region, in south of Italy especially, in the past decades. And actually, we have involved in this European project all the target groups from other regional projects, which are unemployed women or socially excluded persons, women also. And 4 of them eventually created an association, a cooperative for anti-craft materials that they have been able to export after, thanks to the participation, to the collaboration of a partner of the project in another country that is, di che paese erano?
Avevamo Scozia,
Scotland, so UK,
Turchia,
Turkish, that's related the name of the country, and Spania. So that was our recent success.
l'Irlanda del Nord,
Okay, Ireland. That they are still working and they are still exporting their products. Right now.
But in that case, there was a great empathy between partners, great collaboration, great enthusiasm. This is very, very important.
Sorry, I had a moment off. And yes, in my opinion, this is the most important thing. The first thing, on the basis of which every other further aspects will be based on. So I think that's all.
Marek.
Thank you. So I take off. That's interesting. Okay, I think that on the basis of my experience, I think that I'm sorry to tell you it's not maybe very democratic, but I think that the key to the success is very strong leader in the project. And I remember our first project, we had, the leader was young also, and also very pretty, a girl from Lithuania. And it was my first contact with recruiting projects. So I went to Budapest and I met this girl. And we started to cooperate. And she was really a leader. She prepared the project, and our organization was new one, so we had to learn everything. And she was also already involved, and she was very, very rigid for her. Yeah, you know. Lithuanian beautiful blonde girl. Okay. So, and that project was really successful. We realized everything, and it was good. And I think that this project has this possibility, opportunity, because Stepanka, even if she is young, she started very professionally and well organized everything. So I appreciate it. It's something to be done because all material all together, uploaded. Everything is in order, so it's good beginning.
You're nice.
And you know, the second element of the success of the project, that people involved in, And the third one, and it's, you know, we are here, so it's not, we cannot change anything. So we are as we are. But I think also that the most important is motivation. So what's our motivation? And motivation usually is connected to our business, our interest, even if not economic, but also psychological interest. Yes, what are our business? So I tell you what's my business in this project. I hope is to create something that our association can use for students who come to us in Poland, and they look for work, they look for information about possibilities, opportunities, they need to learn something. So this is something I would like to use during our courses we provide to this internship to our students, because we have every week meetings, individual meetings with this person. So it's something can be distributed among these people from Europe. I hope not only from Italy and France, but also from other countries. And the second thing, to make this project useful, I would like just to realize it with an Institute for Vocational Promotion, for Education. So with some concrete, I have one we cooperate with, just to have some group of teachers and to use teachers as instrument to disseminate these results. Because I am not a vocational teacher. I can use it also for students. They come to us, yes, but they are other people who are more introduced in this environment, vocational environment. So we want to create this link with such kind of institute. Bad experience. Usually, I'm sorry to tell you, but usually the bad experience was with Turkish partners, because they were not involved, they didn't speak English, they couldn't communicate, but they were very nice people. Very nice, very open people. But from professional point of view, it was not a good experience, because they were unable, and also they were in some way involved in bigger structures as such, I don't know, educational department of the local administration. And it was difficult to continue the project because people was changing every meeting. Because teacher who started the project changed the school, and the new one didn't know anything about the project. So it was very difficult. And the second bad experience, but it's also I think it's understandable that sometimes in some project, when the people involved is too busy and they have no time to take care of the project, they do what's necessary at the last moment. So there is no result, no real product, just only a way to justify the project.
I think that this is very important, and we are lucky to have you, Stefana, that you wrote the project proposal and to actually manage it, because this is not always happening. So this is an added value, I think. And,
I think I will be surprised myself what actually come out of the project. We'll see.
And maybe it is also important that the persons that were initially involved should remain the same until the end of the project, so we won't have to change and update from time to time.
So,
Using the same way that the approach. It's very a key issue is to have in mind a clear objective. All partners working on the same line, and to develop products that could be really useful. And not only for the target group, but for us. I think you have put in the application that the audit could be useful for us for our teaching activity. And I think this will be important. I think we have to be able to develop products thinking in our activities too. To do these products really sustainable in the future. So it's very, very, very important to agree in the content of this product, to develop the work with each partner for this project. And the other risk, as Mike has said, is if we found some partner that don't do the job, delay all the activities, and finally even don't do the job. It's an important risk. You have found that two-pitch partner, but I have found several bad English word. In universities, very bad experience with English partner, but this is not the case.
sometimes maybe even as universities connected with it, it's a big
To all
Yeah,
big organization.
especially when change the people.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
people is
The easiest way is to cooperate with a small organization, a private organization, because the one person decides everything. So in our organization, we decide immediately. So it's just
processes.
otherwise, yes, we can in a while pay everything, decide everything, sign everything, because we are.
And it's vacation for everybody, of course, so this is another advantage, I think. We have no...
Yeah, that's true. We have no big organization.
Let's make it an advantage. Sound is an advantage.
I have to say that if your first experience as manager, you are the good manager. Till this moment.
So,
Because new one take care, old one is already tired and doesn't care.
for us, I totally agree with what you said, like the partnership is important and also the clear objectives, because recently we were given the program in a project where the partner was leaving the project, and it was like the very last stage of the disagreement among the partners, because each of the partners had other aims in the project, which we didn't realize in the beginning. But then it was a Spanish partner. They told us that the project doesn't fit their needs, so they left the project last month. It was a project not of the European Development Agency but of client, so it was a little complicated with the national agency to explain everything. But in the end, we solved it. So we are going on with only 4 partners instead of 5. But I think it was something that we could have prevented if we maybe cooperated more even during the preparation of the proposal, because then actually the Spanish realized what it was about only after the project has started. So that was the bad experience. Then there's another bad experience. Probably I'm too negative because I have two. So in this GymSend project, we are struggling with the Spanish National Agency because they are terribly delayed. Also, the lead partner is university, it's the LG University, and I think it's
I don't know how works the national agency in Czech Republic. We were talking with Marek, it's horrible, the national agency, I don't know.
Yes.
I
don't know if it's a good idea to write it among the risks. And in this case, it's a combination of the national agency and then the lead partner is the university. So everything takes so long. The project has started in April. We have had a kickoff meeting in July, and since then nothing is happening because the lead partner writes to the national agency that we are delayed and we need the money. And the national agency just don't give them the money. So we are waiting for the money and nothing is happening like for 6 months. But I think it's a 3 years project, so we still have time to keep up. But
probably everybody thinks that.
I don't know. But in this They.Ya project we only have 18 months, so I hope that you don't get too delayed in the first month.
Let's hope not.
So the Czech National Agency, I think they are quite okay. Also, the They.Ya project was approved like additionally, so they already have. We are half a year delayed after all the other projects. So it was supposed to start in spring, I think. But
because you were in the spring.
yes, because we were in the reserve list. So we are like delayed, so the national agency can knows everything from the first projects. So I think there shouldn't be a problem with the national agency. Also, the managers that I communicate with are both okay, so let's hope that there won't be a problem.
Better than Spain.
Okay, and then the successful project I wanted to show it also depends. It's also connected with what you said as your negative experience, because I think the most important thing about the project is that it doesn't end when it ends. So I wanted to show you the website of my previous project, which actually we have now transferred to our. This is actually now the website of our organization, but originally it was the website of an educational project which I led. It was about international cooperation projects. We created a program for municipalities and for schools and for non-governmental organizations. It was an 8-hour, just a short introduction to international cooperation, and we had some pilot courses in the training, in the project. But currently we are running the program from our own resources or like a paid seminars, and we also created this website during the project. There's an e-learning involved about international cooperation projects, and there is also like partner search part in this website. So we upload partner searches from different sources, like when somebody contacts us or what we find on Facebook. So we upload it on this website, and the Czech organizations just come to the website and they look for projects. And if they are interested, they can contact us. So it's actually something that is running, and one of the outputs is also our international course for international participants, which is also based on the curricula that we created during this project. So it's something that was very important for the European Development Agency and which helped us to develop further. And last but not least is Valentin. Your experiences?
For this topic,
But experience in the project or experience?
That experience.
And
And good. We have experience of project integrated services in Bulgaria, and we work with a lot of young people which have ideas for own businesses. And bad practices in Bulgaria a lot of because we have a problem with funding and government and municipalities too not support these activities for the young people. Not support from NGOs too, Chamber of Commerce, etc. organizations with work with another companies of different areas. From Bulgaria, bad practices more than good practices. Maybe Maria, which work area tourism, she have opinion.
Yes, I really think that here is really more difficult than in your countries because there is no support maybe and for young people it's really very difficult, and that's the reason why many of my colleagues from university or from school, it doesn't matter, choose to have their education somewhere abroad and really don't want to stay in Bulgaria because of the miss of this support. But our country has many opportunities, and there are many areas in which we could be really very good. And my personal opinion is that our tourism will be better and better in every year.
But something changed from 2007 to today?
Yes,
Or
of
the
course.
situation?
Yes, of course.
So
The
let's
situation
hope
is
for-
better. We should be optimistic.
Yes.
maybe last question for this topic: have you ever encountered a problem that really caused a financial problem with the national agency like that? Because in my opinion, often the projects are not very successful, but they are just according to the application, so if everything is okay. Everybody knows that it's a bad project, but there's no problem with the national agency because they don't want to have problems and solve problems. So that's my question: if you ever encountered a problem with the national agency like that, they didn't want to give you the money because the outputs were so bad or something like that.
Our outputs were every time very good. I'm joking here, but the business in Poland is it's more or less okay, but the staff and national agency is not big enough. So sometimes it's difficult to receive answer. And now they also tried, because there were a lot of applications, so they tried to put different conditions just to refuse project on the beginning, which is very strange. Because there were no people, enough staff to read and evaluate the applications. But generally they are very open, generally speaking.
We have no such problems in Italy. Maybe for the reason you mentioned before.
The main problem that we had was in the structural funds. Like in the European social funds, there were some problems because they are bigger and the control is bigger. But in the international programs, we also do. That's good news.
We will have a problem in the near future in our national agency, because we have been recently approved a K2 action project in Erasmus Plus. It's not on a collaborative, but for a client. We foresee, I think, 5 intellectual outputs, but they have approved the project with only 1 intellectual output.
So they have cut the
But
budget.
yes, they have cut the budget, but they are going to spec to develop all the intellectual outputs, but with the money of only 1. So I think it's will be a real problem for the partners. We have made a question to the national agency first to get an explanation why they have cut the budget, and second, what they are expecting for the project. We come to expect to receive the same quality or the same work and developing deep with the whole budget. So I don't know. We didn't receive the answer yet.
We had the same problem in French national agency. So we were a partner in one project, and the national agency decided to cut our budget, and instead of 4,000 euro, they decided to give us 1,000 euro, and for the intellectual, we decided to sign the contract. Yeah, because you know, this is a job. How it's possible just to realize this and just to dedicate also many days for meeting, international meetings. It's impossible to realize something.
I think that the problem in this problem in particular is that they can explain clearly what is an intellectual output and what is not an intellectual output.
Yeah.
I think it's not clear. Because if you read the instruction, they say intellectual output is this one, if your answer, I don't know, in your country you have this instruction, but they say if your answer is just to this questions, your intellectual output is a reading intellectual output. And for me, all the answer is yes, but they consider that it's not an intellectual output. So I think this is the real problem, because I don't know what can we do with this one.
Okay, so let's close this round. Do we go for a coffee or are we ready for another presentation?
I need a coffee.
It would be a good idea.
Okay.
Coffee on here.
No.
We do have something. We like what we got in here.
Now it's time for Okay. So my section is about the available funding. Okay. Obviously regarding young people, employment, young people, etc. Okay. The objective of this section should be to provide basic information about the wide range of European Union funding opportunities. We are talking about grants, no tenders, obviously, available for the new period. And especially the purposes of each of this program, who, how, and where to apply, and other general rules, the eligibility. Okay, this is the objective of this section. One important thing for my section, I don't know if for the other section is the same, but for this section it's very important that I think we have to make a different approach for each target group. Young people, the job seeker, and the institution that support to these young people. Because as we know, individuals normally can apply for funding. They can participate in European projects through an institution. So the information that we have to give to young people or to an institution is not the same. Okay, so we have to discuss about this issue that we think is very important. The needs of information is different for each of this target group. Main contents of this section, we think that should be this one. The two first points is general context about the funding opportunities. We should talk about the Europe 2020 strategy, the general political framework, new framework, and the multi-annual financial framework, the budget and the main financial instruments. This is the general framework to speak about the funding opportunities. Then maybe the main part of our section is the third, programs and funds financed by the European Union. All the programs related to young people and employment. And the last point is practical aspects to participate in European projects. Okay? So, the first point in Europe 2020, we can talk about the priorities of the strategy, the targets, and the flagship initiative. There are 7 flagship initiatives in this new strategy, but especially we should talk about the youth on the move. This is in the priority smart growth, and an agenda for new skills and jobs, inclusive growth. Okay, because they are more linked to our target group. In the second point, multi-annual financial framework, we can talk about what is a definition of what is the multi-annual financial framework and its structure and content. Okay? So these two first points are for give a sense to all this framework. And the most important part, no, in this section, the programs and funds. We can start giving a general overview about all the funding opportunities, and then we can explain in detail the main programs and funds related to young people. Okay? In this sense, for each of these funds of this program, we can explain and cover all these points, among others. What does it support? Who can benefit from it? Who can apply? How can to apply? Timetable, a calendar,
about the different codes, and contacts, links, and other resources. Okay, this is more or less the scheme for the presentation of each of these programs. And what program we think that we can include in our products and our intellectual outputs? We think this is the most important available funds or programs. The Erasmus Plus, Youth Employment Initiative, Youth Guarantee, Youth on the Move, COSME, especially the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, Employment and Social Innovation Program, the EASI, Europe for Citizens, Creative Europe, regarding culture, European Territorial Cooperation, and Horizon 2020, and especially the Maria, please, Marek.
Skłodowska kierunek. Skłodowska.
Okay. So I don't know if you know more or less all these programs. I have put in the next slides only a brief presentation. The Erasmus program. Okay, we know, all of us know this program. Obviously, it's maybe the main program that we have for young people at this moment. The Youth Employment Initiative, this is a new package of programs and funds that the European Union put for promote the education, employment and training. No? In regions with a youth employment rate about 25%. Okay, this is a new initiative, so it's only the beginning. We have to explore. It's similar to the youth guarantee that our Italian partner have mentioned before. In Spain, the government has opened a call for proposal regarding this issue 2 weeks ago, more or less, and we are starting.
So we didn't start it yet.
It's open. The call is open now. So we have to explore this line too. And the third one, very similar, is Youth on the Move. It includes specific actions as your first EURES job, that I think that is including maybe in the mobility part. No?
Yes.
And we have to decide.
Something we have to clarify.
We have to avoid to overlap.
Yeah.
Okay. The COSME program, this program is focused on mainly on enterprises and so, but it has a very interesting cause, focuses on entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and this program I think we should include in the outputs. It's very similar to mobility project, but linked to entrepreneurs, not for learners or teachers. The ASI program, this is the ancient progress program, and it supports member state effort to design and implementation of employment and social reforms at European national level. There are small calls of proposal regarding social and employment projects. The Europe for Citizens is the program of the European Union to foster the knowledge and the participation in European activities focused on citizens in general. Creative Europe, that is the specific program for culture, and they have different lines and different calls, and some of them are focuses on young artists. So we think it's important to put and to explore in our products. The European Territorial Cooperation is the new Interreg programs, as you know. This program promotes local development in general. So, of course, the employment for youth and the training, all these activities are included in this kind of program. So we have to take in mind all the program, the transnational cooperation, cross-border, all the different programs that are including European territorial cooperation. And finally, the Horizon 2020 Marie Skłodowska-Curie. This program supports to researchers, young researchers, for developing their career. So maybe it should be important to include.
It's the richest target group because we can have under 30 years old.
Okay. And the last point, as we have mentioned before, should be practical aspects, and mainly a definition of what is considered as a European project, recommendation to succeed with an European proposal, general evaluation criteria. We know that each program has its specific criteria, but there are a general body of criteria that is considered in all the programs, and different roles that you can adopt in European projects. Okay? So, very important question that we have to discuss about. First, what I have said previously, the target groups are different. Institutions that support young people and the young people directly. So, all this scheme that I have shown, I think is very interesting for institutions, because the institutions have to know what are the funding opportunities and how to apply and when to apply and all these the practical aspect. But what about the young people? Because the young people can apply directly normally to a funding opportunity. So what information we have to take in mind, or we have to show in our products in this section for young people. Okay, I think we have to discuss about this issue. And the other issue very important is the European Structural Investment Fund, the structural fund, because as you know, in every country has its own operational programs with different axes, objectives. We have a common framework, but every country has its own priorities. So it's it's impossible to show all these priorities. And also every partner is responsible for managing their own funds. So this is another thing that we have to take in mind and to decide how to manage with this thing. Okay. So I have finished. I think we have to, and I don't know if we are overlapping with another section. Maybe tomorrow when.
I think for Valentin and Bulgaria is responsible for the mobilities.
Tomorrow, one other girl will come
Okay.
to present the presentation.
Because I think there was some overlapping with the mobilities regarding the Everest network.
Yeah.
And then I think there can be some overlapping with the first theoretical chapter about
exactly.
this Europe 2020. So that's what you have to clarify with Anna. What I have written down is that it's a lot of information. It will be very long. So what I suggest is shorten as much as possible the first two chapters, Europe 2020 and the financial framework, because it's very important to have the overview, but I'm sure.
Yes, but we have to decide if we are going to develop these 2 points or another panel. In any case, it should be a very short content.
And then about the programs, the third chapter, I think there are 2 different parts for the organizations and for the young people. One part should be included in the trainer's guide, and one part
Exactly.
in
The training part, I think, is clear, because all these programs and all this content is very interesting for institutions. But the problem is about the young people.
We should select some of them.
Yes, because for example, some of them can be only like mentioned in the guide for the job seeker. Because, for example, the Creative Europe, it's a really big program financing big projects, and I can't imagine a youngster that really can make use of it like that. So, but there are some opportunities that are accessible. It's, for example, Erasmus Plus, where you can apply for a youth exchange, for example, or a European voluntary service, which you can do very easily. Or, for example,
But in any case, a youngster can apply directly. It's an institution
you
that
have to, yes.
that have an Erasmus Plus project.
So there should be step by step. What do I do when I want to go for European voluntary service? I have to find an organization. So where do I find it? What I think the most important thing is that the youngsters even know about these opportunities, and then the next step is to find an organization. Probably.
Yes. Maybe we
So it
can
will be-
show a short presentation about this product. The contacts that they can go for all the links and the resources
Or for
to
example,
obtain more information.
in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, there you can apply as individual.
No, individuals, no.
No.
Bueno, you need an institution can apply for being an agency or something similar to work,
Intermediary organization.
exactly. And you can apply to this institution to have the mobility.
So probably the content for the youngsters is short, much more short.
Yes, shorter. And maybe not all this program, but only the most relevant, Erasmus Plus.
Yes. Exactly. And to include links to organizations that can help. And also I think it's important to include like examples.
Yes. Best practices.
I think it's a very well structured, but it will be very long. And we have to decide what's really relevant. Because I have also brought some examples of what I have found could be similar to our outputs. this is a trainer's guide. It's an activity guide for people working with youngsters, and it's mostly worksheets. So, like that you really take this and bring it to the classroom and you work with it. And then I have a guide for young people. And this is exactly what I think is important. It's always examples. For example, this is more about European citizenship and rights. So there's, for example, you are buying or selling a car in an European country. So what are your rules? And there's an example and links to other websites where you can find more. For example, this is an example that fits our topic. You want to get your professional qualification recognized. So what do you do? What are your rights? Where you can find more information, and there is an example. For example, Monica, a nurse trained in Slovenia, wants to work in Germany. So what does she do? She contacts the German National Contact Point for recognition, which does this and she does this, and then it's okay, she works in Germany. So I understand that.
Those for the other two, what about the main educational program? Should maintain the same?
Do you mean the output one?
Yes.
Actually, there will be no final form of the output one because it will be transferred to this output.
Okay.
So there's the intellectual output one. It's nothing that should be printed or presented. I think it would, in the end, it would be just the content, like the points. Like the presentation that Santiago just did, like the topics.
I think that tomorrow we have to decide which part of, or which the index to be
Yeah.
developed by each part.
Exactly, the index. And we also have to agree about the amount
The
of
extension.
pages for it.
Yes, that was what I was thinking about right now.
Decide because less sometimes more. And also less is less work. So thank you. I think that was for today.
Yes. I have other things to say, but I really prefer discussing that tomorrow. There are no problems or something, there's suggestions. Yeah, you just. Thank you.